On the fourth day of Christmas, is it the fourth day? Yeah, on the fourth day of Christmas, my true love gave to me four calling birds, and the four calling birds were trying to call me an asshole. So we're gonna do Am I the
Or
Asshole?
four beautiful bitches. That's my
No,
Christmas song.
it's calling birds. Am I the asshole for ratting my neighbors out, quote unquote? So I live in a house with four apartments. I live on the upper floor. The house rules state clearly the front door needs to be locked for safety reasons. So I came home yesterday from grocery shopping and the door was wide open, even fixed with a door stopper so the door wouldn't close. None of the cars of my neighbors were in front of the house. I knocked and rang the bells of them, but no answer. So one of them opened the door and drove off. Oh, that's what she's trying to say happened. One of them opened the door and drove off. I admit, I was angry. We live at the forest. Do you? And because of such behavior with a U, oh, okay, British person. We live at the forest, and because of such behavior, we already had rats and a fox in the house. Also, a few months ago, there was an issue with a pyromaniac in the area looking looking for open front doors and setting houses on fire. Jesus Christ, this thing took a turn. That guy was never caught. So because of that, and because I wouldn't notice anything going on at the door living on the upper floor, I called the landlord and reported it. They were absolutely shocked and called all of us tenants for an emergency meeting where it was clearly stated if something like this ever gets noticed again, there will be an eviction for safety issues and violation of house rules. Additionally, it's an insurance issue. If something gets damaged or someone breaks into an apartment because they could get in through the open front door, how I dare open front door, insurances won't pay a dime. After the meeting, one of my neighbors started cussing me out. How I dare to rat them out. They had left the door open for a friend who wanted to stay for a few days and doesn't have a key to the front door. I argued against it. They expected a visitor, they should stay at home and let them in. Those visitors not having a key is no one's problem but theirs and drove home. Okay. Now I refuse to talk to that neighbor and refuse to accept their parcels, which I always did before. Parcels are like packages, right? Good fucking British people. I told my family and they said I was too harsh. I should have waited for my neighbors to come back to talk to them first, while the other two neighbors side with me. So I come here for the judgment. Am I the asshole for reporting the open front door? Ray, what do you think?
This is an interesting one because I can see this from both sides of you being a Karen and you also caring about like the security of your own shit. You know what I mean? Because it's sometimes hard to understand which frame of mindset you were going with. Because I'm gonna go in the beginning, going with you cared about security. I feel like when they started running off when you were trying to ask around, I feel like that kind of peeved you off and kind of made you go a little bit more the Karen route and like when we go report this shit to some higher up people. Because I do feel like this is something you probably could have talked to some people and figure out like, okay, can we not close this door? Or if you are having people, why are they not shutting the door when they come? Like that to me, like that the instance of like you saying the door being open up, like staying open for like hours and stuff. I don't know if you said that specifically, but that's like the mindset I'm getting. Like it's staying open for a while. Then that's something I would report because that is an issue. And that's something like even I will report if I notice that in my apartment building, like the door always open. Like what the fuck is going on? And the
Yeah.
one you said like the door is open, but no cars are in there. Like and no car you recognize is out in front. Yeah, that's something to report. Like if I
Yeah.
was your neighbor, I would love for you to report that. Like call the police because that could be my house or some shit happening too. So I understand it from that perspective, but I can also understand it from like I felt like you went a little Karen when they kind of like left a little bit, and you could have understand that. Um, I don't know if you specifically told because it seemed like they did an emergency meeting for everybody, so it seemed like everybody's on that like if you leave that door open, you can be evicted type of shit. So I don't know if specifically because then like if I was you, I would be like, bitches, you ratting yourself out? Like nobody knew who it was, knew specifically. You putting yourself out there. Like nobody know. Now we all know type shit.
Yeah.
So
You just told on yourself, idiot, by freaking out the way that you did. like I can get it. Like it is annoying to do a thing in a place that is your home, right? It's your apartment. And you're like, oh, my buddy's gonna come by and stay the weekend, whatever. I'm gonna leave the door open, not a big deal. And you have some bitch cunt neighbor be like, you can't leave the door open. We got rats, we got foxes. There's a bird, probably. All we're doing is talk about birds on the fucking 15 days of Christmas. So maybe there's a bird. I'd be afraid of birds. Little bird flies in there. I'd be upset too. But also, if I was in the shoes of the person who left the door open, I'd be like, it was one time I did this. Why do you have to go and report me to the landlord on the first fucking try, you dick? But maybe it's not the first time. Maybe it's just the first time they feel that they've been caught. You know, maybe it's repeat behavior. And this neighbor's like, this is bullshit. Also, that little thing in the middle there about the pyromaniac who would just walk around to unopened houses and burn them and that was never caught. Like, I
I feel
feel
like
like
she.
that line is so important to the context of why this person's so paranoid. She's not worried about like a rat or a fox or whatever. She is worried about a random pyromaniac wandering in from the fucking forest, walking into their open door and lighting shit on fire. And then she just moves on from that entirely and just talks about the meeting and how their neighbors were pissed and all that. That was interesting turn there with the pyromaniac.
I feel like she used that to justify her going to tell. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is the bullshit, and you're like, oh, I need a reason. Why are you like calling the landlord? You know, I'm only calling because recently there's been a person going around doing this shit. You know what I mean? I feel like that
Yeah.
was just to give her like a good reason to call. And they probably
Mm.
like, bitch, nobody worried about that place. Like, you know what I mean? You look,
Yeah. I don't know, man. I guess it would also depend like, do
but
I
the
have a good
insurance thing, that's an
relationship?
interesting thing. Like, I didn't know that.
No, insurance is a valid point, but
I was like, when he said like they wouldn't pay a dime if the door is like open, that's
yeah.
interesting. Cause I'll be like, they will have to figure that out. But we got a snitch bitch in the building. Like, you know what
Yeah,
I
but
mean?
snitch bitch in the building is making sure that your insurance claim is still going to be valid. Meanwhile, you've got some fucking dope on the first floor being like, leave the door open. It's right next to my door. Who cares? If I don't care, nobody should care. Although this person definitely lives in like Great Britain, chap. So probably they don't talk like that at all. So I'll be like, this door, it's so much closer to my door. So I'll leave this door open for me, mate. Come and stay on me in me flat, in me on my couch.
I guess
Am
I
I?
guess it's you go.
I'm convincing British person, right?
I got it. It sounded pretty good though. I ain't gonna lie. I got where you were trying to go come from. I
Oi,
can do accents and they never sound nowhere near where they're supposed to be from. That's why I don't do them.
oi, be flat, mate. Anyway, I don't think this person's the asshole. Like they're just looking out for themselves, and also like the building they live in. So like by extension, their neighbor. Like you said, he didn't know. This person didn't know what neighbor did it, and the person freaks out at the meeting and just rats themselves out like a fucking stupid ass bitch idiot. I don't think this person's the asshole.
I want to add a caveat. If the person did know who did it and they went this whole roundabout way of doing this, yeah, you're an asshole. So you could have went to the person, or I don't know. You could have went to the person, but maybe they're not the type of people. Because I know sometimes older people don't be wanting to go talk to the younger generation because you never
Mm.
know what that situation can turn into. And then
Or
sometimes
just because people are assholes sometimes too.
assholes, or even like an incident I just recently see where you had the it was on Twitter when you had a neighbor come from the downstairs to complaining about noise and basically kill everybody on the top floor. So sometimes you probably don't want to confront people or even talk to them about what's going on. You like, let me just go call the landlord. That's what I pay this motherfucker a month to come and do. Let
Yeah.
him handle it because this I don't need nobody coming to me with nothing.
Yeah, it's not your job to deal with crazy and maybe get shot by your pissed off, aggravated neighbor who can't be bothered to close the fucking door. Huh. All right, so safety first. Not an asshole.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards not an asshole or a little bit. Maybe.
I think it's fine. I think they're fine. And honestly,
I feel like if we read this, because we reading this from the person who's seeing the security door, but if we read this from the neighbor's perspective, I feel like we might have a different perspective. Like how people change different stories or leave details out. I feel like we don't know
yeah,
what side we'll go on, but I feel like this is you never know. But I think
I
this is
think
interesting. Good pick.
I think we're on the right side. We're on the right side. This person's not an asshole. They're just looking out for the greater good, and their fucking bum ass neighbor needs to get evicted. So there's some advice. Close the fucking front door if you live in a shared building with other people in it. Don't be a goddamn idiot. Don't be a jerk off. Don't be mean to people. Just, be decent. That's the advice today on this, the fourth day of Christmas. I bet you were suspecting something like four calling birds. Where's four calling birds? 1, 2, 3, 4. And they all say, don't be an asshole. This person's not an asshole.
Well, this
And
place did have 4 apartments, so
that's a good point. Yeah, I don't know. I can't really be doing math about birds and apartments and people. There's too many birds and apartments and people to be doing math for. So we're not going to do that. We're just going to wrap this one up for today. And we'll be back tomorrow for the fifth day of Christmas, wherein there may or may not be 5 of something. I forget what it is. Raysean, anything for you?
I just want to tell you guys the one thing you can always be is courteous and respectful. And that's what I'm going to end with. And also, don't be a butt cheek.
Don't be a butt cheek.
Boom. Woo.